Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets. All for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. BK, have it your way.
Man, looking at this playoff bracket, a triple header on Sunday, a Monday night battle in Pittsburgh. You're going to be on your couch for roughly 48 hours straight, and you cannot survive wild card weekend on just chips and water, ladies and gentlemen. You need to feast like a king. And right now, Burger King is kicking off the new year with the brand new Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper. We're talking flame-broiled beef top with peppercorn aioli, baby, crispy onion rings, roasted mushrooms, bacon, and Swiss cheese. It's basically a high-end steakhouse dinner stuffed into a bun that you can eat while screaming at your TV because the 49ers missed the tackle. Don't settle for average delivery. Head to the Burger King app, get that Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper, and remember, at Burger King, you rule. Welcome into Leather Brains. It is Black Monday, ladies and gentlemen, January 5th, 2026, and the NFL landscape didn't just change today, it absolutely exploded. I am your host, Slapdog. I'm here, I'm alone. It is just a lonely old Slapdog here. Alan is, he's out and about, he's traveling around doing some work things, and Scotty is MIA still trying to figure out how to be a father. So today it's just me, and if you'll notice my background, it looks a little bit different than it usually does. I have been in the process of moving, so as you can tell, there's a bunch of crap behind me, but I couldn't miss it. I could not miss today. I really wanted to talk to all you guys about what is going on in the NFL because things are going absolutely bonkers. So I decided, you know what, let's do it. So we have finalized the playoff bracket, and it is absolute pure madness. We're talking about an 8-9 Carolina Panthers team hosting a playoff game while the 9-win Lions are sitting on their couches. And we've got Aaron Rodgers taking the Steelers into the postseason and a rookie in New England, Drake May, not a rookie, second year, who just put up the most efficient season in NFL history. But that is not all. The coaching bloodbath is officially here. Kevin Stefanski is out in Cleveland. Pete Carroll is out for Vegas in just 1 year. Tom Brady officially holds the number 1 overall pick in the draft. We're going to cover all of it today because it's happened. It's fun. It's NFL. That is what we are here to talk about. So bear with me. It's just me, as I mentioned. So if you love my voice, appreciate you staying. If you don't, we'll see you later. But I do want to let you guys know, if you have any comments, leave them in the chat. We already have one coming in, Andrew Solomon. He's a Steelers fan. Let's go. What's up, Andrew? Appreciate you joining us. And you're a Steelers fan. You made the playoffs. Congratulations. We're going to be talking about it here in just a little bit. But I want to start out with... We're going to start out with the playoff bracket. So we're going to start off with that. We're going to talk about the entire playoff bracket. Then we're going to talk about the coaching carousel. We will then kind of talk about some storylines about some of the records that have been broken. Myles Garrett, of course, is going to be talked about alongside with, of course, who led the league in different statistics, whether it be passing, rushing. We're going to cover all that. So let's start out with the Denver Broncos. We're going to start out with the AFC, and we'll talk about the Denver Broncos first off here. They're on bye. They are chilling on their couch. Sean Payton, the scumbag. I hate Sean Payton. If anybody does not know, I am not a fan of Sean Payton. I do not like him. I think he is a scumbag. But he is the Broncos back up at the top of the mountain. Since the Peyton Manning era, they are chilling on the couch at the number 1 seed, so they are on bye this week. So the first matchup that we have here that I want to discuss is the LA Chargers. The number 7 ranked LA Chargers are taking on the number 2 New England Patriots. The biggest turnaround in NFL history. I mean, the Pats went from 4-13 last year to now being 14-3 this year. Drake May is making his playoff debut against a Chargers team that barely squeaked in. So the question you got to ask yourselves, the Chargers are playing with backup tackles against a Patriots defense that specializes in disguise blitz. Can Jim Harbaugh actually scheme his way around a talent deficit in the trenches, or is Herbert going to be running for his life all night? If you want my honest opinion, I'm sorry, Chargers fans, but I do think the Patriots are going to win this game. The Patriots have looked very, very great under Mike Vrabel. And really, the story's Drake May. Drake May has looked absolutely phenomenal for really the entire season, and is certainly in the MVP candidate conversation, and he should be. The Patriots have looked great this year, and I've been really impressed with what Mike Vrabel has been able to do in really his first year as a head coach with the Patriots. I've said this before on the show. I really am of the belief that I think that that we're going to be talking about the Patriots again as this dynasty. I mean, that's just where this is going. That is where they are at. And I really firmly do believe that, we talk about the Ravens, we talk about the Bengals, and how when you think of those teams and where they are right now, it's like, okay, they could compete with anybody. That's really where this Patriots team is at for years to come. I really do believe that. So as far as looking at the talent on this roster, as I mentioned, the Chargers, they really took a huge blow by losing both their tackles. I think the Patriots are really going to capitalize on that. And I really firmly do believe that the Patriots are going to win this game. So the next game here to talk about, of course, is Buffalo Bills, number 6, at number 3, Jacksonville Jaguars. You could call this a massive quarterback showdown if you want. Trevor Lawrence just broke the Jaguars franchise record for total touchdowns with 38 this year. And meanwhile, Josh Allen is really trying to prove that the Bills' window still hasn't closed yet. I've said this on the show as well before. I'm not really a huge believer in Trevor Lawrence, but it's so freaking hard over the course of this last month. I know he listens to the show, and I really think Trevor Lawrence has taken a lot of what we've had to say to heart. I really do think that I think there's a huge opportunity for the Jaguars to really show up here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars won, but really, when you think about the Bills and what they are this season, James Cook, man, he just won the NFL rushing title. The Jaguars defense is really built to stop the pass, and if Buffalo maybe just feeds James Cook 25 times, do the Jags even have a counterpunch? I don't know. I think it would not surprise me if either of these teams won, and I'm trying to put my bias aside because I don't like Trevor Lawrence, but it really is hard to argue with what he's done this last month and a half. If you went and watched film on Trevor Lawrence throughout the first half of the season-ish, abysmal play, in my opinion. The Jaguars are winning games that I think really they probably should have lost, but they didn't because I think of Liam Cohen's coaching. And Trevor Lawrence has really kind of flipped the script. He's really showcasing that he is becoming a competent quarterback in this system. I want to talk myself out of the Bills, and I think I am. I think there is an opportunity that the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game. As much as it pains me to say, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills here. I think that the Bills, it's so hard for me to not just go chips all in on Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, reigning MVP of last season, when Josh Allen is playing football, anything can happen. I really am of the belief of that, and he is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to take Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe there's some spite there. I don't like Jacksonville. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. Get a haircut. But that's where I'm going to draw my line out on that game. And then the following game here in the AFC, we have the Houston Texans, number 5, at the number 4 Pittsburgh Steelers. And the story here, CJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers led the Steelers to a winner-takes-all AFC North title in Week 18. But admittedly, I don't even think you can say that because it wasn't Aaron Rodgers that led him there. It was missed kicks by both the kickers, and it really boiled down to the Steelers should have lost this game, and they didn't. With that in mind, the Texans also haven't lost a game in over 2 months. They are on a 9-game winning streak. Absolutely crazy. And I look at both these teams. I think Pittsburgh, they snuck in after that missed field goal by Baltimore. Are they a team of destiny like the 2005 Steelers, or are they just a mediocre team that got lucky? I think that's probably a little bit more how I'm viewing this team. I don't think the Steelers are that great. I haven't thought the Steelers are that great all season. Who they have is Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin, if history is any indicator at all, Mike Tomlin always finds a way to make it to the playoffs and then have a first-round exit. That's exactly how I see this panning out. This Houston Texans defense is incredible. I mean, it is the best defense in the NFL right now. They are playing really great. CJ Stroud and that offense are doing enough to get it done. I don't want to say they're at that elite level, but I really, if I look at the Steelers as an entire team, I haven't been very impressed with them at all. Their offense has looked lackadaisical. Aaron Rodgers has done just enough to, along with that Mike Tomlin train, to sneak them into the playoffs. Their defense has been dilapidated for a majority of the season. I'm not impressed with the Steelers. I largely expect that first round exit that Mike Tomlin is notoriously known for. And I'm going to take the Houston Texans here in this one. I don't want to call it a no brainer, but that's where I'm really leaning at. And now let's pivot over to the NFC. We'll start with the Seattle Seahawks. They are the number 1 seed, just like we had all seen coming, ladies and gentlemen. We had known to start the year, everybody had Seattle is the number 1 ranked team in the NFC going into the playoffs. I know I did for sure. I know we all really did. With Sam Darnold, really a borderline MVP candidate here, leading this offense. Absolutely crazy. I really am just, I thought the Seahawks were going to be terrible. There are videos out there of me that you can find on social media where I was bad-mouthing the Seahawks to the nth degree before the season started. I was like, the Seahawks are going to be terrible. Sam Darnold's not a good quarterback. They moved on from Geno. They moved on from DK. This team is going to be very bad, and Sam Darnold is going to revert into the Sam Darnold that we have known and maybe not loved for years. But, oh man, Wendy McPherson told me to shut up. That's not very nice. Wendy, you should probably be a little bit kinder. But we have people coming in, jumping in and talking here. Rams are better than Seattle. We'll get to that. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe wait until I get to the Rams. Okay, there, Rod 28X. And the Steelers are not that good, Rod 28X. I do agree with you there. So going back to the Seahawks, I've talked a lot of crap about the Seahawks, and I'm really eating crow here because they're a really good team. They are a really well put together team. And I'm not really, I won't say I'm afraid of them, but I think that this is a team that nobody's going to want to play here in the following week. I really am of the belief of that. So that's kind of the Seahawks in a nutshell, but I'm really excited for this one, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Green Bay Packers, number 7, at the number 2 Chicago Bears. I'm here for it, man. The monsters of the Midway are back. Caleb Williams versus Jordan Love in a round 3 rubber match at Soldier Field. Expect a bloodbath. I mean, this is, if you look back at this season, really, they split the season series 1-1, right? The Bears won the most recent one in overtime, but Jordan Love was hurt. So with both quarterbacks healthy, does Caleb Williams have the poise to beat his biggest rival in his playoff debut? I don't know. The Bears are so frisky and interesting to me. Rod 28X, he's got the Packers beating the Bears. I'm not doing it. I think I'm going to take the Bears here. I show us your bald head. I'm not bald, ladies and gentlemen. There's hair under there. I promise you. It's just a little cold where I'm at. Jalen Milroe supporter. I'm sure you love supporting him on the bench. I don't think that the Packers are going to get this done. Ben Johnson, what he has done this season is nothing short of impressive. He came into this organization where Caleb Williams last season with Matt Eberflus did not look nearly as well as he does now. And Caleb Williams, some of the balls that he's throwing, I'm absolutely impressed with. I'm just like, this guy can throw a dart anywhere on the field. I was watching the game yesterday and he was making some great throws. I'm really impressed with Ben Johnson, what he has come in and done with this team. He drafted Loveland, Luther Burden. And yes, the Packers did go out and get Micah Parsons this offseason, but the Packers really, to me, have been the Packers that I saw a lot of last year, where their offense looks kind of lackadaisical at times. They don't look consistent, and they don't look like they really have my guy as far as, and everybody's going to sit here and think Jordan Love, right? They don't have an identity offensively. I haven't felt that this season, and I think that the Chicago Bears defense is really going to hone in on that. So I'm going to take the Bears here. How about them Steelers? These comments, you guys are going crazy over here. Really, Packers should have beat the Bears the second game as well. Should have, but they didn't, Rod. How long? Oh my gosh. Some of you people are terrible. I don't know. I'm not going to read some of these. I hope you guys, your mothers would be very disappointed in some of the things you're typing in this chat. All right, let's keep moving here. Let's go over to San Francisco. So the number 6 ranked San Francisco at the number 3 ranked Eagles, a rematch of the 2023 NFC Championship. The Eagles are favorites, but you can never count out a healthy 49ers squad in January. The problem? The 49ers aren't healthy. That's really, to me, I have the Eagles winning this game. I think this is, I don't want to call it a no-brainer, but because when you have Kyle Shanahan here, that's always going to be a factor in any of the games. Kyle Shanahan, to me, is one of the top 3-4 coaches in the NFL. he gets it done. He's a phenomenal head coach. And so really I kind of look at this game almost as a chess match between Kyle Shanahan playing chess and the offensive firepower and defensive firepower that are the Eagles. I think from a coaching perspective, Sirianni's going to get out-coached, but I think Sirianni has a lot more talent on the field to be able to overcome the deficits of coaching. So from the seat I'm looking at, I really do think that the Eagles are going to take this one. I don't think that the 49ers but I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked because Brock Purdy has been playing some really, really great ball. Christian McCaffrey looks like Christian McCaffrey of years ago. Rod 28X also has the Eagles going to, hell yeah, love it. So yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles here. I think that, I think the 49ers are always frisky. They're a team that people never want to see when it comes, not even to playoff, but regular season, because Kyle Shanahan is such a good coach. But I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done here against this Eagles team. So that's who I'm going to take. Rod, you think that the 49ers will keep it close? I think they can too. Do I think the Eagles will go back to back? User Beast OK asks. Great question. No, I don't. I don't think the Eagles are going to go back to back. And I'm going to tell you why here in just one moment. I am of the belief the LA Rams are going to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing the Panthers this week. LA Rams at number 5 versus the Panthers who are ranked number 4. You could call this the anomaly game. The Panthers made the playoffs with an 8-9 record despite losing their final game. They won the NFC South tiebreaker over the 9-8 Lions and who were sent home. So I really don't think, and I know people are going to sit here and point, and they're going to say the Panthers already beat the Rams earlier this year, Slapdog. What are you talking about? I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. I really do firmly believe that. The Panthers are 8-9. The Rams are 12-5. Because of the seeding rules, the 8-9 team gets the home game. I got to ask, is it time for the NFL to change the seeding so the better record hosts, regardless of division titles? I don't think so. I kind of like the fact that the Rams are going on the road just a little bit. As you can tell, I am a Cardinals fan, so I don't want to love the Rams, but I genuinely think they are the best team in the NFL. User Beast OK says, yeah, but I think it can be Seahawks Texans because the Texans are very good this year. The Texans could. It's something about Matt Stafford, man. The level that he has been playing at this year has been absolutely incredible. I've been very impressed with him. And Puka Nacua, the only thing that I really want to know is do we get Devontae Adams back this year or in the postseason here, and maybe hopefully for this game, because Devontae Adams has been a target hog. He has been the touchdown merchant in the end zone, and it's worked very well for the Rams, and they haven't had that since his departure with the injury. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. As far as this Rams-Panthers game, I'm not super concerned with it. I think that the Panthers, when they won against the Rams earlier this season, I think they caught the Rams sleeping a little bit and overlooking them. I don't think they're going to make that same mistake again. I think that Sean McVay is another incredible head coach, and I think that he's going to find a way to get it done here against this Carolina Panthers team. I'm going to tell you, I said this earlier on the show earlier in the season. I had a future placed probably back in early November that I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm still sticking to it. I think they are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. So that's kind of where I have them. Sorry, I'm looking at all the comments here. I know I'm on multiple streaming platforms. I usually have multiple people helping me do this. It is just me today. So anybody who is tuning in, bear with me. I got eyes on all different screens trying to keep this show running on my own because I'm missing my producer and my other co-hosts. So I am running a little rampant by myself this week. All right, Rod20X says, yeah, Adams back for sure against the Panthers. And User Beast OK says, yeah, after what happened in Super Bowl 49, the Seahawks never made it back to a Super Bowl. But Texans can win their first championship. How will the streets of Houston celebrate? I think that would be cool. If the Texans won, I'd be happy. Like, there's only a couple teams here that I really would just leave a bad taste in my mouth if they made it to the Super Bowl, that being the Eagles. Really, the Eagles and the Jaguars, and the Steelers, which I don't see any of those teams making it all the way to the end. And the Broncos, because I hate Sean Payton, because I think he's a scumbag, as I've prior said here on the show. So, all right, Let's pivot over. Let's talk about the coaching carousel because there's a shiz ton of news that just dropped today. There have been a lot of firings. I'm excited to talk about them. And we will start with the shock fire. I don't know if this is a shock. It was a little bit of a shock to me. But Kevin Stefanski is out with the Cleveland Browns. So after 6 seasons and 2 Coach of the Year awards, Stefanski is officially out. He had a 5-2 finish and a 30th ranked offense this year. The Browns have started 13 different quarterbacks in his tenure, 7 in which have started in the last 2 years. The big swing and miss on the Deshaun Watson trade ultimately cost him his job. Now, this is really what we don't know. Was it Kevin Stefanski or was it the front office that went and got Deshaun Watson? You know, the Browns are keeping their general manager, Andrew Berry, which is somewhat rare. Usually the GM kind of goes with the head coach and you clean house there. So the question at hand is, did Stefanski want to go get Deshaun Watson or did Andrew Berry want Deshaun Watson? And if Andrew Berry wanted Deshaun Watson, the fact that he kept his job is absolutely mind-boggling to me. I just don't think that I don't know. I could not believe that Kevin Stefanski is one of the best coaching candidates now in free agency, in my opinion. And it's just the whole situation is very, very unfortunate. I said on this show a couple weeks ago when Alan and I were talking about Kevin Stefanski, I said, this is what I see playing out. And it didn't, but I'm going to share that with everybody who's just tuning in for the first time. If Kevin Stefanski, I thought, and I still think this makes sense. I don't think the Browns can go back and do this over. But if Kevin Stefanski, what the Browns should have done is they should have kept him for one more year. They should have rolled him into next year because the reality of the situation is this. Deshaun Watson's not going anywhere. He is still on this team, whether he actually suits up or he has an injury. We will stand to find out here in the 2026 season. But Deshaun Watson is on contract. He is guaranteed money, and he will be a part of this Browns organization. If you keep Kevin Stefanski through next year, in my mind, this is what you do if you're the Browns. Now, the Browns are a poorly run organization. You can take this advice for free. I'm giving it to you for free. Should have taken it. I said this weeks ago. You roll Deshaun Watson out to start next season. Is he going to be good? No. The Deshaun Watson that we saw when he was with the Texans is no longer the Deshaun Watson that is playing football. He has gotten one too many massages. So here's what you do. You roll him out for 3-4 weeks. You watch your team crumble. And then you say, all right, we're done with this experiment that we already tried. Let's roll Shedeur Sanders out for the remainder of the year. Now, is Shedeur Sanders an upper echelon elite quarterback? I'm not of the belief that he is, but what you can do is you can give the kid some time to develop. So you throw him out there, you have a muddling season, and or maybe he sparks something. Maybe he is something. Probably not, but you give him that opportunity. And so you send him out there for the remainder of the season. Inevitably, it probably doesn't work, and then you scrap the whole thing if you're the Browns. You move on from Stefanski, you move on from Andrew Berry. Deshaun Watson can be done. You can say the Shedeur Sanders experiment failed for your PR, for all the fans out there that want to see Shedeur Sanders out there, and then you can go draft a quarterback next season, because right now, there's not a great quarterback. Like the upcoming rookies in this class aren't touted as a very quarterback strong rookie contest here. So I really, to me, I would have kept Kevin Stefanski one more year because I do think he's a phenomenal head coach. And, then you start to think, is Cleveland the most attractive job available because of their elite ranked defense? I mean, they are the 4th ranked defense in the NFL. Or is it the scariest because of their mess at quarterback? Well, there's a couple other teams here that we're going to talk about. But as far as landing spots are concerned with the Browns, if I was somebody vying for a head coaching spot, there are a couple other teams here that I'd rather go to than the Cleveland Browns, because as time has shown, the Cleveland Browns do one thing very, very well. They fuck it up. And I think that's really what would happen here in the event that any of these potential, because offensively, you don't have anything to work with. You have Jerry Jeudy, Harold Fannin looks good. Quinshon Judkins has looked good, but statistically on paper has not really performed at the level that you would hope a running back would. So there's some sprinkles. There's some, I'm doing the salt meme here of some hope for this offense, but I really think that who's going to be your quarterback, and I think that's a huge problem, and I don't think they're going to have that solution next year, because I don't think that this is a quarterback class that a lot of people are going to be, vying for a lot of quarterbacks. There's a couple, but not a lot, and I don't think the Browns might not be one of them. So that's kind of my take on the Browns here. We got a couple questions, so I'm sorry. All right, Rod20X says Kevin was in the wrong organization. I couldn't agree with you more. And how do you like Brissett? I'm going to bookmark this one, Rod, when we talk about the Cardinals, because we just got rid of our guy, and I'll give you a little bit more insight into that. Who do you think will get first round exits, and who goes to the Super Bowl? What if it's Steelers-Packers? I don't see that happening. I don't think the Steelers have a strong enough offense. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is playing at the level that they need him to. The Packers, their defense is good, but their offense can be good, but it's the consistency isn't there. I don't think it's going to be there. The first round exits that I have are, I think we're going to see the Chargers lose. I think we're going to see the Jaguars lose, and I think we're going to see the Steelers lose in the AFC. In the NFC, I think we're going to see the Packers lose. I think the Bears are going to make some noise. And we're famously a Bear. We said before the season started, I know you guys probably have not been tuning in until this moment. Hit the subscribe button, by the way. Join us. We are doing this every Monday night. I think that we're a Bears podcast. We said that to start the season. We said we bear down, baby. I got to roll with the Bears. So I think the Packers are going to get the exit. I think the 49ers are going to get the exit. And I think that the Panthers are going to get the exit. So that's kind of my preview there. All right, so we covered Kevin Stefanski. Let's go over to Tom Brady with the Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles. The one and done disaster being Pete Carroll. At 74 years old, Carroll was the oldest coach in NFL history this year. He lasted exactly one season. He went 3-14, and the reason he got fired, a 10-game losing streak in an offense that ranked dead last in rushing. The Geno Smith, Chip Kelly experiment was a total failure. So, I was optimistic of the Raiders going into this year, and kind of to piggyback off of what I had said earlier about how I thought the Seahawks were going to be really bad. I thought the Raiders were actually going to be a little bit better than projected, and I thought that because I was like, okay, Geno's not a world breaker. He's not a top 10 quarterback, but he was usable when he was with the Seahawks. He comes back, the reunion with Pete Carroll. They got Brock Bowers. They drafted some rookies here, Ashton Genty, and some wide receivers. I thought they could make some noise. And this offense looked absolutely terrible. This offense looked better last year with I always call him Uncle Rico, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Like, this offense looked better with them than it did with Geno Smith. It looked so bad. And realistically, I like Pete Carroll. I don't think he's obviously he's a good head coach. He did really well when he was with the Seahawks. But I think this was the right move for the Raiders. And the reason that I believe that is because the Raiders aren't going to be competing next year. The Raiders aren't going to be competing in the next few years. What they need to do is go under a full rebuild. And I think their intent this year was, let's try it one more time. Let's sign Max Crosby. Let's see if we can get any juice out of this lemon to squeeze. And that's really what their intent was with signing Pete Carroll to I think it was a 3-year deal. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. And you need to rebuild. And Pete Carroll's not a rebuild coach. Why? Because he's 74 years old. By the time the Raiders might even be in the conversation for being able to compete, Pete Carroll's going to be like 78, right? He's not a young, spry guy. He looks like a young, spry guy. He's running around on the practice field throwing footballs and doing stuff. But the reality is that he's an old head coach. He is the oldest coach in NFL history. So, yeah, you have to move on from him, and you need to go find a guy that you have the first overall pick, which we're going to talk about a little bit more, but you're going to draft a quarterback, right? Go get a head coach who believes in their quarterback and try and build around that. You had to move on from Pete Carroll. I tip my hat to the Raiders for doing what they did because they needed to move on from him. And now Tom Brady and the general manager, John Spytek, are leading the search. So does Tom Brady lure a big fish like Bill Belichick to Vegas, or do they go for a young gun to develop who they take at the number 1 overall? I don't think it's going to be Bill Belichick. I think that ship has sailed for Bill with all the PR that he's got going around. But I think that Tom Brady's definitely going to have a lot of sway. Obviously, he is a minority owner in the Raiders. He is Tom Brady. He's going to be very involved in the coaching search for who they get, and I think he should be. I mean, if I had Tom Brady as a part of my organization, you bet your sweet apples I'd be looking for Tom Brady's advice as to who we should go get to help us rebuild this organization. So that's what I like. I'm going to pause for a second and look at all these quotes. I mean, you guys are flooding the comments. I love it. Houston might send Aaron Rodgers to retirement. What if I get drafted into the NFL? I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe the Raiders get the 49ers defensive coach. Rod28X, you're bringing some really good points here. Robert Salah, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit when I get to the Cardinals, because I'm a Cardinals fan by my hat. I like Robert Salah a lot. I think he got a very unfair shake with the Jets. I think he is. Brian Flores is another one that I really, really like as a potential head coach. He's got ties with Tom Brady, by the way. The Vikings defense this year, I was afraid of. I was very afraid of the Vikings defense. Brian Flores puts on a masterclass defensively. Obviously, he was a head coach with the Dolphins at one point in time. It didn't work out. But I think Brian Flores should get another shot as a head coach. And if he went to the Raiders, I think that really fits him. I think that fits the persona of the Raiders. I think it fits what they're looking for. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Flores ends up as the next head coach for the Raiders. James, MK, M4K7P. Good that Arizona coach got fired. Couldn't agree with you more, buddy. Give me one more moment. I got to talk about Raheem Morris, of course, and then I'm going to talk about it. So I love the fact that you said that. Tom Brady owns the Raiders. What if Tom Brady becomes the head coach? Don't think it's going to happen. He's comfortable in the booth. He doesn't want to commit that kind of time to sitting around and trying to clean up the mess. He wants to hire a guy who will do it for him. All right. Raheem Morris, baby. The Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank fired both the head coach Raheem Morris and the general manager Terry Fontenot. Back-to-back 8 and 9 seasons. Even a 4-game winning streak to end the year wasn't enough to save them. Atlanta hasn't had a winning season since 2017. For those of you who are tuning in over on YouTube, go follow us over on X at Leatherbrains. There was a clip that I had made before the season had started, and I called this to AT. I said the Falcons are going to go 8 and 9 this season, and Raheem Morris will get fired, and he should get fired. And I really do believe that this was the right move for the Falcons. Now, the Leatherbrains team is not just me. As I mentioned, I am the only one here today, but there's like 9 of us on this team. And I got a lot of flack from my fellow teammates about me saying that Raheem Morris was going to get fired this season, and they called me crazy, and they had the Falcons go into the playoffs, and I said, I don't think so. I'm looking at the schedule here. I've seen what the Falcons are. They're an 8 and 9 team, and I think Raheem Morris is part of that problem. Raheem Morris is not a phenomenal head coach, clearly, because he just got fired. But the problem here for the Falcons is there is so much talent on this team that is being wasted due to poor head coaching. Now, you can make the arguments, as I did in this video clip that I posted that you can find over on X that was recently reshared. But I don't, it wasn't Raheem Morris, I don't think. I think part of it was the general manager in the front office. The whole quarterback carousel that they did with Kirk Cousins, signing him to a long-term deal to sit on the bench. Obviously, they needed him this year. And then they drafted Michael Penix. There's too much talent on this team. And Raheem Morris was supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. Where was that? This defense did not scare anybody. They weren't that great. So there's too much talent on this roster that is going to be wasted if they don't go find competent coaching. Now, in the rumor mill, Falcons legend Matt Ryan is reportedly in talks for a front office role to help find the next regime. I don't know if that's the right move, but you know what? He's got long-standing relationship with the organization. He knows it. And obviously they need to figure something out here. So there's a couple. I don't think the coaching carousel this offseason is that strong. Rod28X says he subscribes. Raheem is a good defensive coach, not a head coach. It's kind of where I see him at. It's kind of where I see him at. It's like, and I don't even think their defense, as I mentioned, was that great this year. But I think that when he's been pulled from the defensive role to the head coaching role, he couldn't focus enough time on the defense, which I think is really where his strong suit is. He needs to go. So I'm glad that he did. I called this and it happened. Now we have Stevie Jackson, Z2R, said, I've been a Falcon fan for 50 years, and brother, you were absolutely right. It was all the coaching there. Garbage. They needed to fire everybody, and thank God that they did. I'm happy for you, brother. I really am. I think that this was the right move for the Falcons, as I had mentioned many times now. I said this to start the season, and I really do think that this was the right move to hopefully find the talent and or find somebody who can utilize the talent that they have and add talent around it. This Falcons, this division is a joke. The Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Falcons. The Falcons should have won this division with the talent that they have there, and instead they're 8-9. There's absolutely no excuse for this when you look at the landscape of this division and where it is. This is out of all the divisions in the NFL, this is easily the cupcakeiest of divisions, and it never happened. So yeah, move on from him. Go find somebody who can hopefully utilize the talent that's there. Okay. Now we're going to get to the fun one. We are going to talk about my team, selfishly. The Arizona Cardinals, baby. They finally did it. The expected exit, Jonathan Gannon. Pew, 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 pew. I rode the bus today. This guy was the most awkward dude I have ever seen. And when he first became the head coach for the Cardinals, I was mortified watching all the clips. I can't believe that the Arizona Cardinals PR team let them post this onto social media, because I was watching, he was making pew pew sounds to Kyler Murray. His first, one of his first meetings with the team's all sitting in the stand, their seats. And he's up in the front and he goes, "Who rode the bus today? Who rode the bus here today?" And it's like, what are you doing? And if you watch the players, they were about as disinterested as can be. And I'm just like, this is embarrassing. So for the Cardinals to even allow that to happen, I was absolutely shocked. The season, it was a 3-14 dismal campaign, ended with 9 straight losses. This team was absolutely non-competitive, losing their final game to the Rams 37-20. Our general manager, Monty Ossenfort, is staying, which I'm okay with. I like Monty. I don't think he's a world breaker, but I think that he's fine. And the question, there's the Cardinals really, this gets really interesting because there's a lot of scenarios that can play out here. Teflon Dom 40 says Cardinals are cheeks. I kind of think so as well. I don't kind of think so. We are cheeks, and we need to figure out a way to get this going. And Jonathan Gannon was not the answer. So there was a question that I was asked earlier: is Jacoby Brissett? What do I think of Jacoby Brissett? Here's what I think the Cardinals should do. We need to find a head coach. And there's a couple coaches that I would be pretty interested in. I'd take Brian Flores. I would take Robert Saleh. I think Brian Daboll got a raw shake with the Giants. I would love to take Brian Daboll. I think he is an offensive mastermind, or maybe not a mastermind, but I think he's certainly a savant in the offensive space. Go get Brian Daboll. Go get this coaching carousel is not super strong, but those are 3 candidates that I really do like and would feel really, really good about. Now, if you got Matt Nagy as our head coach, I would take this hat off and burn it in front of you all live, because that would be embarrassing and disgusting and sad. If you went and got Matt Eberflus, I would do the same thing. I would renounce my fandom as a Cardinals fan. Hello, Sam Formaro. Hi, welcome to the show. DK Stacker 24 asked Mike McCarthy. I actually like that one. Mike McCarthy, I think, is another, I don't want to say great, but a really good head coach candidate. I would be very comfortable with Mike McCarthy. I appreciate the question. I like that. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I kind of forgot about Mike McCarthy because he's been in the void this season. Hit the subscribe button, by the way, for all of you over on YouTube. If you guys are tuning in, hit the subscribe button. Join us. We are doing this every Monday, and I love having all these questions. This chat is filling up like crazy. Who is your favorite Cardinals player? It's got to be Budda Baker. If we're talking ever, it's J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's my favorite NFL player of all time. He's a Texans player first, but he's what brought me from the Texans over to the Cardinals, and I loved DeAndre Hopkins when they were there. So that's what brought me to the Cardinals, and I can't keep switching fandoms. So J.J. Watt would definitely be my number one. Currently on roster, probably Budda Baker. I think he really leads the team, but Trey McBride is freaking that. You can't argue with the talent that is Trey McBride. Rod28X says Nagy should never be a head coach again. I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. The fact that Matt Nagy's so you don't know this probably, but my producer Scotty, who is usually on the show, and Alan Casanova Castro are both Chiefs fans, and they are I said earlier in the season, I said honestly, the Chiefs landscape is not looking good. The best scenario for you guys is actually to lose this, because now the Chiefs have always kind of been a victim of their own success in some facets, because I think Matt Nagy's an idiot. And the fact that, if you look at the offense of the Chiefs, yes, they've had personnel changes, like player changes, but the way that Eric Bieniemy ran that Chiefs offense looked a heck of a lot better than what Matt Nagy has done. Now, because they've lost, they can move on from Matt Nagy. When they're going to the Super Bowl every year, it's really hard to say we're going to move on from our offensive coordinator. So I think for the Chiefs, this is actually best case scenario for them to be able to move on from Matt Nagy. But the fact that he's a coach, I don't understand. Buddha's nice, thank you. Dude, McBride is a beast. Is Connor injured? I don't think Connor's coming back, my friend. And there's a couple running backs this offseason that are big name running backs. I would love to see land with the Cardinals, or maybe we draft a running back. But I'm of the belief I don't think Kenneth Walker is going to be back with the Seahawks. Breece Hall is a free agent as well. Now, obviously, they could tag these players, but those are two really very talented running backs that could make some noise on another team. And I think with James Conner's injury as well as his age, I think that is sunsetted just a little bit. What is my least favorite team? Landon asks me. It's got to be the Cowboys. There are teams that I don't like, but I just can't root for the Cowboys. So that the Jaguars are in contention. The Jets are up there, of course, as well. But you could I could maybe get on a tangent about any of those three, but I'll leave it where it lies. DK Stacker says, do you trade Kyler to move up in the draft a quarterback, or free agent sign one? So this is kind of where I was going with this whole Arizona Cardinals conversation. Is there's a lot at play here, because do they hire a head coach who wants to keep Kyler Murray? That's within play. I wouldn't love it. I think Kyler Murray's tenure with the Cardinals should be done. Here's kind of how I see this playing out. Is the Cardinals, I want to say, have the seventh pick right now. Sorry I did that. I'm very embarrassed that I did that. I honestly want to roll Jacoby Brissett next year. I think Jacoby Brissett did a lot more for this offense than Kyler did the entire year. And I think part of that is due to the fact that Jonathan Gannon and why can I not think of our offensive coordinator's name? He protected our offensive coordinator so much, and the offense was just embarrassingly sad and frustrating. And Kyler Murray's biggest asset is his legs. What Kyler Murray does really well is his ability to extend plays. Now, everybody jokes about Kyler Murray being short. It's a fun joke, but there's legitimacy to that. Is when Kyler Murray can't see over the offensive line. So I've watched Kyler Murray for years. What he does best is his play action bootlegs. That it's because he can see down the field. That was almost non-existent this year, and now he's scrambling trying to get it done. I think that the offense was a disservice to Kyler Murray, but I also think that Kyler Murray is who he is. I don't think he's ever going to win a Super Bowl. I don't think he is an upper echelon quarterback. I think he certainly has talent, but his biggest asset is his legs. And when that starts to go, and he's kind of getting at the age where it's probably going to start slowing down just a little bit, can he develop into a pocket passing quarterback? I think he has the arm talent for it, but I don't think he has the height for it. And that's a legitimate concern for me. So I'm good with moving on from Kyler Murray. I think you should trade him. And just if you don't have a quarterback that you like in this draft class, roll with Jacoby Brissett. He's cheap. He's not gonna be a franchise quarterback for you, but I think he's a good bridge quarterback that you can utilize to continue to try and develop. We need offensive line help really bad. So I wouldn't be mad if it's not a sexy pick, but it's definitely one that build the trenches. Whenever you're in doubt, build the trenches. And that's kind of what I would like to see from the Cardinals for this upcoming season. All right. That's there's comments flooding in here. Some of these are really, really mean, so I'm not going to read them out. I don't understand. What's wrong with you people? You just come into people's live streams and just start being nasty? I'll just put one up here for anybody that wants to read it. Am I gay? No, my wife. You probably heard my garage just open. My wife just got home, so that's who that was. I'm not gay. Rod28X says, dude, I like Brissett. He's underrated. I really do think he is. I mean, for fantasy football purposes, I loved him, but I think that he's a competent bridge quarterback, and that's kind of where I see Brissett moving into. DK Stacker 24 says Malik Willis. I'd rather keep Brissett. I think he's going to be cheaper than Malik Willis, potentially. Thank you for saying I'm not being nasty. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Like I said, Malik Willis wouldn't be bad, but I would like to keep Brissett if I could. You ask everyone, it's all love. Well, I love you too, buddy. I love you too. Okay, and then let's continue the coaching firing here. You guys are getting me off topic. Brian Dable. He was fired in November after a 2-8 start. Mike Kafka finished the year as the interim head coach. So the Giants also have a vacancy. And then let's also remember Brian Callahan for the Titans. He was the first head coach this season to go in October. He finished with a .174 winning percentage, one of the worst in the modern era. Now, the safe list. Who are the safe guys? Who are the guys that are safe that were maybe on the hot seat? Famously, Zach Taylor, who has been on the hot seat for a couple years, supposedly. He had a 6-11 season in 3 years of missing the playoffs. Ownership, however, is still sticking with him. This one's kind of interesting because, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, they were kind of asked, what do you think about the current regime? Would you like to see changes? And they both kind of were, the message, at least from Jamar Chase, was something's got to change. I like how they scheme me to get open to get the ball, but something's got to change. Their defense has been the problem. And to be quite honest with you, I'm okay with keeping Zach Taylor. As I mentioned earlier, many times in this show, I don't think this coaching carousel, the coaching carousel this offseason is super strong. I'm fine with keeping Zach Taylor. I really think that the Bengals front office has done a disservice to the Bengals organization in general because they haven't done anything to solidify their defense. I think it was a very poor choice to sign T. Higgins. And not that I don't think T. Higgins is talented, but you have so many issues on your defensive side. Let T. Higgins go. Trade him. Get some draft capital. Tag him and trade him. Like, the fact that you paid both these guys exorbitant amounts of money means you don't have cap space. And we always joke on the show that cap space isn't real. It is real. And the Bengals are facing it right now, and they're going to continue to face it. They need to shore up this defense. That's really the problem. They didn't have Joe Burrow for a large part of the season, so that certainly was a detriment to them. But I'm fine with keeping Zach Taylor. Give Brissett, sorry, I'm going to pop back over here before I go into the next one. Give Brissett a great defense and a run game, and he'll be fine. I agree with that. Tank one more year and get a dude in one of the stronger quarterback classes in the last 30 years. Clayton, you're reading my mind, baby. Let's do it. I'm here for it. Devon Nutt, the only team with no interceptions since 1933 being the new... Dude, you're stealing my content. I'm going to be talking about this. Don't worry. We're going to get there, Devon Nutt, but I appreciate the comment. Do I ever think the Chargers will move back to San Diego? No. I think they're probably going to stay in LA. This quarterback class is ass. And Rod28X says, yes, Zach Taylor's a good coach. All right, we're caught up on the comments. I got to keep moving, ladies and gentlemen. I love the comments, so keep them coming. And once again, hit the subscribe button. Genuinely appreciate it and love the fact that you guys are part of the show. We do it every Monday, so I look forward to having you guys here for years to come. And I won't be alone moving forward, by the way, hopefully. Shane Steichen with the Colts. He retained his job despite a 7-game losing streak to end the year. The Colts are really freaking interesting right now. They really are super interesting. They kind of did a chips all in move, went and got Sauce Gardner here for 2 first-round picks. And then the story, of course, is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I'm of the belief, is going to get a longer-term contract with the Colts, maybe a 3-year deal. But the Colts looked really, I don't want to say great, but they looked pretty damn good to start the season. The Colts were a team nobody had. I mean, if you think about the Colts and where they were to start this year, in preseason even, and prior to preseason, this entire offseason, the Colts were the laughingstock of the NFL. If you have to choose between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, you're already in shambles. That was being said everywhere in NFL spaces. That was the talk of the town. And the Colts put their earmuffs on. They weren't listening to anybody, and they came out and they showcased, hey, we're a good, competent team. And the other thing that I kind of want to highlight about the Colts is obviously Jim Irsay passed away, which is very sad and unfortunate, but his daughter Carly came in and really revitalized this team in a really good way, I think. I think she kind of put on a masterclass of what it means to be an NFL owner. She doesn't have a lot of NFL ownership experience, but instead of shying away from that and just kind of keeping to herself, she is on the sidelines. She's got headphones on in games, and she is listening to what is being said. And she's famously even talked about this and said, I think if you're an NFL owner, you should be doing these things because you need to know when people are feeding you a line of crap. And so her being a hands-on owner, I think, has really helped this Colts organization in a more favorable direction. Yes, they lost 7 games in a row. They also had to pull Phillip Rivers up off the couch at 40-something years old to try and get it done. Your season's over at that point, right? So I think Daniel Jones is going to be back. I think Shane Steichen is the right answer at this current time for this Colts organization. The unfortunate thing is they kind of, like I said, went chips all in, so to speak, but they got Sauce Gardner, who is a very talented corner. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think about the Colts and Saints. Shane Steichen. Devon Nutt says, great minds think alike. Couldn't agree with you more, my friend. And Rod28X says, yeah, I thought Gannon was weird too. Yesterday, he looked like he wanted to go kill someone on the sidelines. He probably did because he knew he was out. And the last head coach that is safe this offseason thus far is Mike McDaniels with the Dolphins. He is confirmed to return, although they will have a new general manager. God, I wish Alan was here. My co-host, he had said, and we had joked about this, and our producer said there's absolutely no way in hell. If Mike McDaniel starts putting on some wins, does he keep his job? He did. And really, I think part of the reason Mike McDaniels is able to keep his job is with the benching of Tua. I think that was probably a difficult thing for him to do because when he came into this Dolphins organization, Brian Flores had supposedly ruined Tua and really just destroyed his ego. And the first thing Mike McDaniel came in and did when he came in was say, Tua's a good quarterback. And then he put on a clip of every good thing that Tua has ever done. And it really, people had thought was going to revitalize Tua. It did in maybe a short spurt, but the problem is Tua's got the brain scrambles and really he's not that great of a quarterback. And Quinn Ewers, I think I said that right, Ewers, the rookie quarterback came in and he looked decent. He looked like he was helming the offense better than Tua was. So I can't believe Mike McDaniels kept his job, but I'm just sitting here laughing to myself, wishing I had Alan here because we would be going on a riot that Mike McDaniels is keeping his job. So it was so cool to see. And I don't want to say cool to see. Dolphins fans are probably a little disappointed in that, but I think Mike McDaniels is a goober. If you watch him in Hard Knocks, when they were with the Dolphins, I always liked Mike McDaniels, and then I watched him in Hard Knocks and was like, oh, because I thought Mike McDaniels was just putting on this character, this persona when he was talking with NFL media, and he's saying, yeah, he was just kind of this goober weird guy. And I was like, he's just doing this to the media. But then you watch him in Hard Knocks, and I was like, oh, no, this guy's just awkward. And he really doesn't look like he has a lot of the respect of his players. So, he's staying around. Do I think that the Jets will be good next season is a question that came through. The answer is no, I don't. I think they have I don't know if Aaron Glenn is the right man for that job. But, they got to figure out a quarterback situation. I think that if you're a Jets fan going into next season, you just want to hope and you want to pray for some sort of you're not looking for success, you're looking for building blocks. And I think that's really where the Jets need to be is, do we have something we can hang our hat on and get excited about for the future of the organization? Because right now they don't have anything. So is there a way to dig up pictures of Bidwell doing bad shit to force him to sell the team? Clayton, I've been trying to find him, my friend. If you find any, please send them over to me, and I will have our PR team get involved. That would be wonderful, but I haven't found any that have come to the surface yet. McDaniels only wants to win towards the end to save his job. I mean, hey, that's anybody, right? All these coaches are playing for their jobs, so that you're not incorrect there. But that's a part of the game. I hate Bidwell. He's a welfare queen. He wouldn't be able to pay the bills if successful franchises didn't supplement his income. You must be a Cardinals fan like I am. It's sad and it's frustrating, and it's the life that we've unfortunately either chosen to live or been gifted and handed down from our forefathers. So, Bidwell's he needs to go, but he's not going to sell the team, and it sucks. I wish that he would. I wish that a competent owner would come in. If Carly Ursay, I'd be fine with that. That'd be great. She'd do a hell of a lot better job than Michael Bidwell would. Rod28X says, Shuck from the Saints looks nice at quarterback. I didn't have this in my docket to talk about today, but I will take a little pause and talk about this. I think Tyler Shuck is going to be their quarterback at least for the next season. I think he's certainly played into that, and maybe for seasons to come. The issue is the Saints are still in cap space purgatory, and so they need to find some cheap alternatives, and I think Tyler Shuck is that cheap alternative. They've been struggling at the quarterback position for a few years now, and I don't think he's an upper echelon as far as the talent's concerned, but he's certainly playing pretty good ball right now. And I think he will come back next year, and we'll see what happens. I think Shuck's going to be around. The Dolphins are bad at the start of the season, but try to be good at the end. I'm a Dolphins fan. If I was with them, I would fire him. I think Dolphins fans probably would kind of agree with you there. I think that most Dolphins fans would like to fire him, but I think the unfortunate reality is they're not going to. They're going to roll with him another season. Brock Plank says, "Go Packers." I can't get on that. I can't. I appreciate the comment. I love the fact that you're here. Keep the comments coming. But the Packers are another team that I just really struggle to support this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now have to take a quick ad break for our sponsor.
Maaf soal itu, kami ingin mencoba menu Monster.
Menu Monster di BK sangat menyenangkan untuk semua jenis keluarga. Anda yang terbaik.
I clicked the wrong one. I clicked the Spanish version, but we're going to keep moving. All right. We covered a lot of firings. If you're a Browns or a Raiders fan right now, I know your blood pressure is high. You're stressed, you're looking at mock drafts, and you're hungry, and it's time for a royal reset. Whether your team is heading to the Super Bowl or heading to the draft lottery, you deserve to have it your way, ladies and gentlemen. Grab the 2 for $5 mix and match deal to share with a buddy or keep them both for yourself, because I promise you, I will not tell. Toss in a new strawberry Fanta Freeze to cool down after those hot takes we just heard in the chat. The playoffs are here. The carousel is spinning, but the flame broiling never stops, baby. Hit the drive-thru or order on the BK app. Burger King, you rule. Appreciate the sponsorship from Burger King, keeping the lights on here at Leather Brains, and let's keep this train rolling. We're going to talk about the NFL draft here, ladies and gentlemen, for just a moment. So, Tom Brady, man. Raiders, 3-14. They won the tiebreaker for the number 1. Tom Brady. Everybody keeps saying Tom Brady gets the pick of his quarterbacks. I mean, he'll have a say, but it's not like he's up there at the podium saying this is who we're going to take. So Raiders get number 1, Jets at number 2, Cardinals at number 3, Titans at 4, Giants at 5, Browns at 6, Commanders 7, Saints at 8, the Chiefs at the 9, which is the shock of the year. Mahomes and the Chiefs missed the playoffs for the first time in his career as a starter, and the Bengals at 10. I'm not going to go through all of these because it's going to take entirely too much time, but I am going to just kind of share my thoughts on the top 5 very quickly. The Raiders, I think, are going to take Fernando Mendoza. I think that's what I see happening here. They need a quarterback. They are desperate for a quarterback, and they have the pick to do it. I don't overthink it. Obviously, if your head coach comes in and maybe has a different plan, maybe they go get Kyler Murray and sell that pick. There's a couple different options in play here, but at the end of the day, the Raiders, they are in a position to be able to get the quarterback of their future, and I think that they should do it. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And then at number 2 is the Jets. They also need a quarterback. Maybe Dante Moore is the guy of their future. And then the Cardinals at 3. All these teams kind of need quarterbacks, but that's why looking at the number 3 spot for the Cardinals, I think you draft, I think you take an offensive lineman, maybe move down a little bit and get an offensive lineman. There's going to be a lot of politicking that is done here in this offseason between these teams. And realistically, as I mentioned, I think you roll with Brissett, and I think you build in other places. Our offensive line needs some work. Titans don't need a quarterback. They need some wide receiver help, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went and got one, whether it be Lemon, Tate, or Tyson are really the big 3. And then the Giants also need a wide receiver. So I could see them all take the Titans and the Giants at 4 and 5, both taking wide receiver. Cardinals maybe moving down. But the Jets and the Raiders are in prime spots to take quarterbacks. And that's kind of how, and this is way too early predictions. Things could change. We're going to have conversations about this offseason that are going to continue. I'm just kind of sprinkling this in because it's just been announced. Because of obviously the playoff ordering. That's kind of how I see this potentially going. Cardinals have Kyler Murray. I don't think he's injury prone, though, is what was followed up in the comment. I wouldn't roll with Kyler Murray. I'm kind of done with him. As a Cardinals fan who's had to watch it over the last few years, I think he's kind of a prima donna, and I think he's going to have another head coach that comes in, and it just hasn't worked. I'm fine with moving on from him, and I think we should. Do you think someone picks up Mac Jones? He did good for the 49ers. Rod28X, you need to listen to the show more often, my friend. I love these questions. Mac Jones, I talked about him as a potential a couple weeks ago, but the issue is Mac Jones is under a 2-year contract with the 49ers, and so I think he's going to be on the 49ers. Unless a team really wants him and the 49ers are comfortable moving on from him, I don't think they are, because I think Mac Jones has shown that he's a competent backup quarterback. And with Brock Purdy having, he's been in and out this season with injuries, I think that the 49ers continue to roll with him. And I don't think they're going to want to trade him off roster for a 4th or a 5th round pick, maybe a 3rd if you get lucky. But I think that most likely scenarios, Mac Jones is still with the 49ers this offseason. Fifth River Rat says, what will the Rams do with their number 13 pick with the Falcons? We've talked about this on the show quite a bit with my co-hosts who are not here today. They could take a quarterback, but I don't think that they will. I think what we're going to see happen, as I've said prior on this show, is I think we're going to see the Rams continue to roll Matt Stafford out. I understand Matthew Stafford's getting older. Maybe they draft their quarterback and he waits in the wings and learns under Matt Stafford. That's in play. But I think realistically, I think what they're going to do is they're just going to look to reload and continue to fire on all cylinders. I mean, Matthew Stafford, who we're going to talk about for the MVP here in just a moment as a potential candidate, I get it. He's 37 years old. He's a little bit older, but he's playing at an elite level. And I think they're just going to continue to run it until the wheels fall off and figure out the situation later. And that's honestly what I think that they should do. So I think they're going to look to reload and continue to go on. Thoughts on Michael Crabtree? I don't have any thoughts on Michael Crabtree. Maybe we find some compromising pictures of Tom Brady to force him to buy the Cardinals. I don't think it's going to happen. But if you got on Tom Brady's Instagram, he's probably got some shirtless pictures there. Maybe Michael Bidwell could be enticed. I want a corner, but wouldn't be surprised if they traded to get more picks for the Rams at the 13th pick. Like I said, I think they're going to reload. I think that Devontae Adams is kind of interesting. Does he come back? I can't remember if he's on a 1-year deal or not. He's obviously had some injury concerns this here at the end of the season. They could use a wide receiver too. Obviously, they don't need a wide receiver one with Puka, but do they look to trade back? I could see them definitely adding some defensive firepower to this. Arizona's the oldest franchise in the NFL. Now you know. I did know that, but thank you for reminding me, I suppose. You guys are doing great with these comments, by the way. I'm loving the show here today, and I'm genuinely so thankful to have you guys here. So hit the subscribe button, man. Keep doing this with us every Monday. All right, so that's the picks. Now let's talk about some stat leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Stafford. I mean, we've been talking about him. Let's keep talking about Matthew Stafford. He is... Not only is he has led the league this year in passing at 4,707 yards. At 37 years old, he still has the biggest arm in the NFL because not only is he the passing leader, he is also the passing touchdowns leader at 46. He dominated the league in scoring. And that's why I think that Matthew Stafford keeps reloading and coming back. I got to take a drink of water. I've been talking here by myself and don't have a moment to catch my breath. So we got Matthew Stafford leading all the passing records as far as touchdowns and yards. Rushing touchdowns. We have James Cook coming in at 1,621 yards. He became the first Bills running back to lead the league in rushing since Thurman Thomas. I almost said Johnson. James Cook, everybody, I this is getting in the weeds. Nobody cares about my dynasty fantasy team. I was looking at trading James Cook this offseason. I was nervous. I thought, I don't know. He's a touchdown dependent running back is kind of what they had talked about. I've been very impressed with the Bills this year and last year of really putting more of a focal point in their running game, because traditionally you had seen them really lean on Josh Allen playing hero ball a lot, and they've really kind of converted their offense to, we need to run the ball. Now, part of that is probably because they needed to run the ball, because their offense, they lack a lot of offensive weapons. Keon Coleman has not looked incredible for the Bills this season. And in fact, he was benched for multiple games due to coaching decisions. So really, they had to lean on the run game. The Bills really need to find a competent wide receiver. And they've shown that they want to find that competent wide receiver. They got Amari Cooper last year and it didn't pan out. They went and signed the Chargers wide receiver that has kind of been non-existent, that was somewhat usable. God, I can't remember his name for the life of me. So all is to say, I've been pretty impressed with, James Cook looked absolutely phenomenal. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Gannon being fired? Dolly, we already kind of covered this. Rewind the episode just a little bit. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I think this was the right move for the Cardinals, but if you want a full breakdown, rewind it about 15 minutes and you can hear me go on my rant about the Cardinals. I was excited about it. But appreciate the question. I appreciate you being here. Love me some Stafford. He's still human though. I don't think he is, man. His wife might not be human. I think she might be part robot, but I do love Matt Stafford as much as it pains me to say. And really, I love Sean McVay. The Rams, I have a lot of admiration for the Rams, and they are in our division, and it makes me sad and frustrated, but I'm almost in awe of what the Rams are able to do. Cardinals have the best bird logo in the NFL and also the best white helmets. Thanks, John. I didn't unfortunately get to help design that. I will say I didn't like our alternates this year. I thought they looked like tortillas. Or the rivalry jerseys. I thought the 49ers rivalry jerseys far outdid ours. But I like our logo. I like our color scheme and our helmets. The white ones did look slick. I also like our black ones. I think we got a good color scheme going. That's about all we have good that's going. But Fifth River Rat says Matthew Stafford is the only one that throws the no-look pass accurately. Pat Mahomes might get a little bit mad about that comment, but he does. Matthew Stafford does. He throws the best no-look ball. You got to be impressed with Matt Stafford, man. He is a phenomenal quarterback. Stafford taught Mahomes the no-look pass. Rod, you caught me there. Cards are the biggest birds in the NFL. Josh B. Fiver says. I don't know what that means. Like physically the biggest bird. A cardinal or a falcon might be bigger, and an eagle's also probably bigger. I don't know what the biggest bird is, but the Cardinals all blacks, Rod, they do look sick. I do love them. I'm here for it. So, was good to see. It was good to see. All right. I'm going to stop reading these comments for just a moment because I got to finish with this show. My wife's going to be mad at me, as I've told you. She just got home, and I'm married. I'm not wearing my ring. Receiving yards, JSN, Jaxon Smith-Njigba for the Seahawks. It's 1,793 yards. He leads the league in receiving this year. He has ascended to the superstar status, leading the number 1 seed Seahawks. This is phenomenal. JSN, as I mentioned at the top of the show or earlier in the show, I was really concerned with the Seahawks. I didn't think the Seahawks were that great going into the season, and I thought that them moving on from DK Metcalf was going to be absolutely just crippling for them. And JSN said, absolutely not. He has ascended into the superstar status. Excited for him in this offense. Sam Darnold, dare I say, is a good quarterback. JSN is absolutely lighting it up, and obviously leading the league in receiving, as I mentioned. So excited to see that. Now, we can't talk about statistic leaders without bringing up my favorite currently playing defensive player, Myles Garrett, baby. 22 sacks. Monstrous season. Wasn't enough to save Kevin Stefanski's job, but Myles Garrett leads the freaking league in all-time sacks in a regular season. Now, the kicker here is this, and I've got friends who are fans of the show who listen in, and I was talking to them yesterday, and they said, you better mention this. So here I am mentioning it. Do not worry. I get it. He did break the single season, sack record, but the season is longer now. So I'm throwing that out there. I don't want to take anything away from Myles. He's a scary human being. As I mentioned, my favorite current playing defensive player in the league. So happy for him. So happy to see this. He deserves that. I wish the sack would have been a little bit cooler on Burrow. It was kind of like it didn't feel like a traditional, guttural sack, but he got it, and I'm happy for him. His family was there in attendance. It was super cool to see. Happy wife, happy life. Couldn't agree with you more. Football talk, that's what we're here to do, Brent. Welcome to the show. We're about to be at the end of the show here in just a moment, but we are talking football. Welcome to the party. Who cares if the season is longer? He got it done. Thesis 209 says that. I'm kind of in the same boat, but even Michael Strahan had went on record and said the season is longer, and it's yeah, it is, and that gives them more opportunity. But also, the season is longer. I don't think a lot of people realize how difficult that is for someone's body to play that many games, and I would presume Myles Garrett takes very good care of his body. That guy is a human specimen, but he got it done, and I'm here for it, and I'm happy for him. And like I said, he's my favorite defensive player that's currently playing in the league. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. I'm here for it. So you're a Zorro fan. Feel for you, man. I'm a Titans fan. Misery loves company. A Zona fan. Sorry, I read Zorro for some reason. I know. You and I are paddling in the same boat, my friend. I would gladly take Kevin Stefanski off your hands, though, now that he is in the free agent market for a head coaching vacancy. I'll take him from you, Brent, and appreciate the comment. Appreciate you. There's a lot of new faces here in the chat, so please hit the subscribe button. Join us again next week. I'm going to be here hopefully with my co-hosts, or at least a co-host. As I mentioned, one of my co-hosts is traveling this week, and my producer just had a child, so he is dealing with becoming a first-time father. So he's navigating those uncharted waters. So it is just me here today. Brent says season is longer, but the rules have changed to benefit the offense. The guy deserves his flowers. Couldn't agree with you more. Hats off. He definitely deserves it. And then we have interceptions. Kevin Byard for Chicago has 7 interceptions. He is really the engine behind the Bears' number 2 seeded defense. The Bears' defense is legit, ladies and gentlemen. It is nothing short of impressive. Hey, I'll be back. Appreciate or subscribing, man. Appreciate you. No, I appreciate you, man. I really do. This has been a very fun episode for me. I thought I was going to have to talk into the microphone alone for an hour, and I didn't have to because of all you wonderful fans. So thank you guys for coming to Leather Brains and joining the show and being a part of this community. Tim Fitzgerald says, Pats are back. Hope you all are ready. I said it, man. I said it earlier in the show. I think the reality is, and a lot of people aren't talking about it yet, so that's why you come here, is because I'm going to talk about it before NFL media does. The Pats dynasty is here. We are looking at another dynasty forming for the Pats, and as much as it pains me to say, because I was so thankful to be done with the Tom Brady Belichick area, we're seeing another one unfold right in front of our eyes. So congratulations to Pats fans. I'm going to have to suffer through that misery watching as my team is still in the dumpster. Thesis 209 says top 3 teams in the NFC are in the West. How does it feel to be the worst team in the division? Why are you rubbing salt in my wound? I know. I was joking today with, as I mentioned earlier in the show, there's about 9 people that work on the Leather Brains team. And when Jonathan Gannon got fired, they were all talking to me about it, as I'm the only Cardinals fan. And they were like, if Matt Nagy or Matt Eberflus becomes the head coach, will you renounce your fandom? And I said, I will. And they said, what 3, just give us 3 teams that you would be willing to support if the Cardinals signed Nagy or Eberflus, either of the Matts. I think if your name's Matt, you shouldn't be a head coach. I said, the Seahawks, the 49ers, or the Rams. I'll support any of them because I'm so sick of the sadness that is the Cardinals. You already think it's a dynasty? I don't know about all that. We'll see. No, Walrus Poacher, I think what we're seeing is the start of a dynasty. I really... The Patriots had a very favorable schedule this season. I will not gloss over that, but I think we're starting to see the precipice of thinking of the Patriots like we do the Bengals and the Ravens and the Bills, where it's any given Sunday, they are an upper echelon team. I definitely think that's where the Patriots are headed. Now, are we talking dynasty, like they're going to win the Super Bowl and get 3 rings? Maybe not, but they're going to be an upper echelon team. So let me correct myself here. I think the Patriots are approaching an upper echelon continual conversation for years to come. Thank you for holding me accountable. Okay. Now we're going to wrap this up. Bizarre and historic storylines to end the regular season. We have the 0-pick Jets. So the Jets defense finished the season with 0 interceptions. It is a new NFL record. Not a singular pick. There were a couple times here on this Sunday where they could have they almost had it and they didn't. And I was like, damn, are they really going to go an entire season without picks? That's embarrassing. And yes, they did trade away Sauce Gardner, but once again, this kind of is why I'm not really firmly cemented in my belief of Aaron Glenn. He is a defensive-minded head coach. That is what he was when he was with the Lions. Where's the defense been? I get it. You came into an unfavorable situation that are the Jets, but Jesus, you didn't even have an entire interception all season long. That is the most Jets thing that could happen to the Jets. And it's embarrassing. And this is going to be talked about for probably all of eternity. Like, remember that one season when the Jets didn't have a single interception? They lead the league in it. Like, that's bad, especially from a defensive-minded head coach. So Vrabel going to New England was a great pickup. Couldn't agree with you more. Cardinals just fired their head coach. Sarah, we covered it already. I love the fact that you're here. They did. I'm happy about it. Go rewind it about 30 minutes ago, and you're going to hear my rant about it. Hit the subscribe button while you're here, because these conversations are going to be happening every single Monday for the rest of eternity. And we would love to have all of you continue to join us. So Tim Fitzgerald, the schedule's a schedule. Teams benefit every year and can only beat those who are on the schedule. How many teams beat Buffalo and Buffalo? You bring up a good point, Tim, but you look at it, the schedule is the schedule, but that also kind of lends credence into, look at the Commanders last season. They had more of a cupcake schedule, and everybody was like, the Commanders will lighten it up. Yes, they did lose Jaden Daniels for a large majority of the season, but if you guys tuned in, back before the season started, I wasn't bought in on the Commanders because of their age. And I said, the Commanders are very likely to suffer a lot of injuries that will then deter their season. And that's almost verbatim what happened. They really need to find some youth, and they need to find some talent. They signed Deebo Samuel traded for Deebo Samuel to try and make a push. I didn't really think that was good, the icing that was going to move the needle for me. And they succumbed to injuries. They really have to find a way to get younger on that team before the Commanders can do it. But the schedule is scheduled, but that also kind of lends into why they are able to do what the teams are able to do and make these wild playoff pushes. Not every team, but it certainly helps the case, right? Do you like Super Bowl blowouts or close games? I'm asked. Dude, it's Super Bowl blowouts. What are you talking about? You want, or not blowouts, excuse me, close games. Blowouts are boring. Like, if on the third quarter after the halftime show for whoever might be playing, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, I don't even want to watch this game anymore. It's boring. I want something that's captivating, down to the wire, kind of like the Ravens Steelers from last night's game. That game was fun. I was excited. I was watching till the very last minute. That's what I want out of a Super Bowl, and I hope we get that this season. Raiders missed out on Vrabel last season. Couldn't agree with you more, Rod. But I think it was a foregone conclusion. Vrabel was going to head home to the Patriots, and it did happen. So not surprised. But all right. Bizarre and historic storylines. Caleb Williams rookie records. Caleb Williams didn't get it done. Our producer Scotty had even said, if Caleb Williams, which if you guys don't know producer Scotty, hopefully you will as you continue to tune in and he is back on the show. He is about the oldest man in a 31-year-old body that I've ever met. He is a curmudgeon. And we did state, we all agreed, we are a Bears podcast this season. He said if Caleb Williams throws for over 4,000 yards, he will paint his nails in solidarity, which he has talked a lot of crap about Caleb Williams painting his nails. So that was a huge leap for him. Caleb Williams did not get it done. He was at 3,942 yards. It was about 60 yards, 58 if you want to get technical. 58 yards shy of hitting the 4,000 yard mark, meaning that the Bears have still not had a 4,000 yard passer yet. I think next year is going to be the year for him, though. However, Caleb Williams did shatter the Bears' single season rookie record with passing, leading them to the number 2 seed with that 3,942 passing yards. Drake May efficiency. Another storyline here. The Patriots quarterback led the league in a passer rating for 113.5. And for context, that is better than any rookie season in NFL history, including the likes of Dak Prescott or CJ Stroud. So Drake May is between him and Vrabel. That's why I really do firmly believe that this Patriots organization is on the up and ups, and we are going to be talking about them in a very high caliber for years to come. And the 30-year exit. This is not really talked about on NFL media a whole lot, but I figured I'd bring it up because it is interesting and it is worth noting. 4 major NFL officials, including Rick Patterson, who is a 30-year veteran, officially submitted their retirement papers. Expect a lot of replacement ref talks this upcoming season, but we are seeing 4 major NFL officials leave the league and retire. We appreciate your service to this great game that we all love, but they're moving on. So the question is, do we see more technology continue to roll out? We had some technology incorporated this year to include the chain gang technology that was incorporated, which was long overdue, by the way. I think having 70-year-old men hobble along with a chain and we're using sticks and a rope to try and figure out. The technology is there, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we not utilizing it? I had said this for the last few seasons, and they finally, I know that there are some that listen to the show that are in the NFL officiating office. They were able to get it done. Maybe we'll see some more technology incorporated as we start to see some of these veteran NFL refs leave the league. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll find out. But I'm going to say this. This is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen, and I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you joining me here today. If you haven't already, as I have mentioned multiple times, hit the subscribe button on that show. We are doing this every Monday, and this has been an absolute blast, and I hope to see you guys back here again, and I hope to continue the conversation. Each week, we are talking NFL shop. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, do so. This is also converted into a podcast every Tuesday morning. So if for whatever reason you miss it, you got to cook dinner, you got to take the dog for a walk, and you don't want to walk around with your phone in your hand watching me and my co-host spit live, this is a podcast. Go to your favorite podcast platform, hit the subscribe button. And if you're not following us on social media, you certainly need to be doing so at Leather Brains. We are active and involved on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or almost every social media platform. We have followings, and join the Brainiac community. This has been a fun episode. I have enjoyed you. Great show, Rod. Thank you so much, my friend. It was a pleasure to have you here. I look forward to doing it again, and hopefully have you back. We are rivals, but you enjoyed the show. Look, I love a good rivalry, buddy. It was good to have you here. Enoch says this was fun. This was fun. Thank you so much. This is a good time. I really enjoyed having you guys here, and look forward to doing it again next week. I'm going to get the heck out of here. My mouth is rather dry, and I need to take a drink of water. So I'm going to skedaddle. I am officially out. Let's get the heck out of here. We always end the show with this. It is just me today. So instead of we, I'm going to say I am out.